Good morning. It is January 1st, 2026. And as you know, as while you're here watching this, there is no longer a cost associated with doing the registration of purchasing or making your own suppressor. So I did this last year, one that I designed and I printed myself at home. Of course, I did all the paperwork and had the cost and everything for it. Today, I'm going to do another one so I can start printing it once it gets approved. But I wanted to do a walkthrough of how to do that yourself in case you're interested. So let's get into it. You will, of course, need a eForms.atf.gov account. So that's the website. And this, after you set up your account, put all your information in and everything, this is the home page. And I do want to preface all this by saying I am not law enforcement or associated with anything like that. I don't work at a gun store. I am just a individual. So anyway, it looks like we're starting fresh on the home page now. If you hover over these, they'll tell you what they're for. If you want to make a suppressor or a short-barreled rifle, it's the same process, a little bit different information that you put in. But for today, we want to do a Form 1 because that's how you submit to make a suppressor in any form. You can make it on a lathe, CNC, 3D printing like I'm going to do. Any way you're going to make it, this is the form that you're going to pick. And here is the application type. Historically, individual has been the fastest way to do it. This one that I did, I believe it came back in about a week. Now, with a lot of people doing this, it could be just as fast. It could be, who knows? It's probably going to be crazy. So the earlier you do it, earlier you get it in, the better. So we're going to do individual. You can always transfer it to a trust later on if you wanted to. This is just all the legal stuff. Looks like this screen has not been updated because there is no longer the $200 tax stamp. This page might be mostly blurred because this is my personal info, but this is where your profile information will get put in here, and whatever's not in there you need to fill out. You have to fill out everything. So up here, an individual, if you're an FFL, you can put that information. I'm not. Like I said, I have nothing to do with the firearms industry besides being a consumer of it. You'll have all your info in here, and then this is where, like any standard gun purchase, you need to fill out all these questions. So go ahead and fill these out. All right, on the next screen, and up here is kind of like breadcrumbs so you can see your progress so far. You basically, this is where you put in what you're making. This is where you upload. Again, most of this is going to be blurred out because it's my personal information. But this is the section of the application where you put in what you're making, details about it. A couple things you'll need ahead of time in order to do this is one, a passport style photo. It's basically just a headshot around shoulder height up. Simple photo, white background, just so they can clearly see who you are. And very important, you will need your electronic fingerprints. So I had this done locally. I forget the name of the company, but if you just Google, actually, you know what, I'll make it easy on you. I'll put a link in the description of where to go in order to find a place around you that does it. It was at like a UPS store, I think. They had a machine in there. You go in there, you sit down, and you do all your fingerprints. I think it cost, I believe it was around $50. You get that electronic file that you can just use again and again. You only have to do it one time, so which is nice. Okay, and that electronic fingerprint file that you need will be a .eft file, which you can get once you go and have them done. And I believe I used this company. I'm pretty sure, PrintScan. You can type in your zip code there and find one that's local. They may have kiosks in different companies like UPS or whatever, and you just go in there, sit down, and it took maybe 15-20 minutes to go through all of them. It was like the same day, I think, I may have gotten the file back. So you need to have two things, the passport photo and this electronic fingerprint file, which you can't even open. You just get the file back and it has like a serial number. So here, you have your info in here. You'll want to upload your photo, and then you'll also want to grab that EFT file, which has all your fingerprints in it. And then that'll pop up and ask you to verify your name and date of birth. And once you have all this done, you are good. You can save it. I misspoke earlier. The responsible person, so this is all your information verifying who you are with your photo and fingerprint file. The other thing you'll do with the item itself that you're trying to create is should be the line item area. I think you can skip ahead if you wanted to, but I would suggest just doing everything in order. The CLEO will be your local sheriff's department. You have to notify them that you're making this item. So this is just, you plug in who that is in your area, and then once this is done, you print out your Form 1 and you will mail that to this same exact person. Can't be somebody else, like the information has to match up. I actually go to the sheriff's office website. I'll copy the name and the title and all that kind of stuff, just so there is no error whatsoever. So yes, you'll also want to put their address in there, and then once again, just take a minute, look at this over, and make sure everything is correct. Okay, so once your information is correct, the law enforcement officer information is correct, then you can move over to line item, and this is where you add your specific item and the details for it. So in here, we are going to add a firearm, because that's what you're making with the Form 1. Okay, so in the case where you're making a suppressor, what you'll want to do is read this here. So in this case, it tells me to enter FMI in the search box and to select manufacturer code. So up at the top, hit the code and then FMI. We're going to verify that, and that will automatically tell it what you're doing. You're making a suppressor yourself. So as opposed to searching for an actual firearms manufacturer. And then you will select United States and push next, and this is where you put in the specifics of what you're making. What I did last time is I just submitted like a simple 2D drawing of my suppressor as just a JPEG. You will need that. You will also need a photo of what you're using to manufacture it. So in my case, it's a 3D printer. In your case, it may also be a 3D printer, but it could be a lathe or a CNC machine or something like that. It's all the technical stuff that they just have to know. Now we're going to fill this out, and the product type is a silencer. Here you just put in the caliber. So we are just going to select .22 because that's the one I'm making. Or model, caliber 22, unit of measure. And then here you will select basically the length of the suppressor. So for my particular one, that is my length. And then the serial number, you can make up whatever you want. I would suggest keeping it professional. I just did mine by number last time, so 002 is what I'm going with. And this description, they do make it somewhat easy. If you hover over the fields on most of them, a little pop-up box will tell you what you need to do. So the description is basically just an overview of how are you going to make this? What are you going to do? So I will say the same thing I did last time. State why you intend to make a firearm for all lawful purposes. That one's pretty important. And once again, verify everything is correct on here. And for the overall length, it is very important that it is pretty specific. So it needs to be extremely close to what the finished product is going to be. Now on this, after you click next, you will get this screen with all your information on the side. Once again, just verify all that is correct. And here is where you will add a photo of your item, what you want to make. Of course, you can't because you have to have this form in order to make it. So if you have a drawing or a CAD file or something like that, you can share that with them, even like a sketch on graph paper, anything that just shows what the item more or less is going to be once it's actually made. So now I'm going to go ahead and add my file in here. And you also need to put a description of the file, so you can just spell out this is a drawing, this is a render of the suppressor, or plans for it, or what have you. And then you have to actually push add document, and that will add it into your list of things. All right, and after that finally loads through, you can go to the next page, which is electronic documents. And this is where you're going to want to add a photo of what you're going to be using to produce this item. So in my case, it's a 3D printer. So you push browse, find your photo, upload it, and I selected it that it is a photo. And you just write a description. The 3D printer I will be using to make this item. Self-explanatory. I would suggest not giving any extra details than what is absolutely necessary. So to keep it to a bare minimum, but just keep it to the facts. And then after you have that in there, we will add that document, just like we did the picture of the plans or drawing of the item. And now that is in there, we will push next. And then on this page, you want to very, very carefully Go through and make sure everything is correct, because if one thing is not correct, you will get rejected. After you've carefully gone through, verify that and push next. And you will certify that yes, everything is correct to the best of your knowledge under penalty of law. So get it right or get flogged. And next you will push. It won't let you push pay. Okay, so they didn't really update the front end of it. That one screen we were looking at saying it was going to charge $200 for the stamp, but now it will not let you push pay in order to pay that $200 stamp. So it's the first day. They probably still need to update the language and stuff. So now we will just sign and submit instead of paying. So enter your PIN in there and you should be good to go. You will get an email. We'll see if I get it here in a minute. If so, I'll pull it up and show you. Oh, I just got an error. Okay. It's not saying anything is wrong. It's just saying that something's not working. So we will sign and submit it again. And if I had to guess, it is very overloaded at the moment. Most likely. There's probably a lot of people on here doing it. And again, I'm getting an error. So this whole thing should be saved. I'm going to go ahead and save it again just to make sure. And then I'll back out, go through it, and everything should stay in there. But we just want to make sure. I don't believe anything is incorrect that I entered because I've done this a few times now. In case you're looking for where your drafts went, they used to be on the left side. Now, if you come to this bottom area and click the form type you're looking for, so Form 1, and we're looking for a draft, then you can search and they'll pop up in the bottom now. So they used to be on the left, which I actually think was better because it was visually easier to find, but there they are. So I've tried this a few times now and I'm still having an error message and no luck. So I'm assuming it's just the recent update, or maybe it's just too bogged down right now or something, and they're probably still out because it's New Year's Day. I will come back and try to submit this tomorrow or maybe the next day, but as long as you've done everything step by step up until this point to finish the certification of the form, you should be good to go. And then once it actually does let it go through, you'll get an email. Who knows, a couple days, maybe a week or two. But at some point you will get an email and it will let you know if it's approved or not approved. If it is not approved, well, you're kind of out of luck. You need to go back and check, make sure everything is in order, make sure you got all your details in there properly, and then you can resubmit it. If it comes back and it is approved, well, you're approved. You can actually just go ahead and start making your item. But you do have to send a letter notifying the chief law enforcement officer. In that email, you will want to print out. There'll be a page on there, or maybe a couple pages. You just got to read through it. And that is what you will mail to your local sheriff's office. And then once you do that, you're in the clear and you can make your item.
Good evening. I wanted to give a quick update to that form I submitted. I tried it later on that night and it actually went through. So here is the email that you need to be on the lookout for. This mine in particular says it's submitted. That just means it went through and they received it. So you will also need to be on the lookout for a secondary email saying you're either approved or rejected.
Hopefully that's helpful. I know the first couple times I went on here to do it, it was very confusing. I had to do some research and watch some videos and stuff. But it's pretty straightforward. It's pretty easy, actually, once you understand what to do. Just make sure you have that passport photo and you need your electronic fingerprint file. So that's extremely important. But again, that's like a one-time thing. So hopefully this was helpful to some of you guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.